Jeff Dean joined Google when it had 25 employees. He built the infrastructure that made Google search work at scale. He co-created TensorFlow. He built Google Brain. Yesterday, after 27 years, he posted his final message. And left. Taking 3 others with him. The same afternoon, Demis Hassabis stepped down as CEO of Google DeepMind. Alphabet stock fell 5%. Here is what actually happened. To understand why this matters, you need to understand who Jeff Dean is. He was employee number approximately 30 at Google. When he joined, Google had 25 people. Now it has 190,000. He watched every year of that growth. In the early days, Dean co-designed the core systems that let Google Search handle billions of queries. MapReduce. Bigtable. The infrastructure that the modern internet runs on. Then in 2011, he co-founded Google Brain. The internal AI research lab that became the birthplace of modern large language models. The team that built the transformer architecture. The team that created TensorFlow. If you have used any AI model built in the last 10 years, you have used something that grew from what Jeff Dean built at Google. Yesterday was his last day. And his departure, alongside 3 others, was announced on the same afternoon that the CEO of Google DeepMind stepped back from his role. Jeff Dean is not leaving alone. Sanjay Ghemawat, Google's Senior Fellow, is going with him. Ghemawat co-created TensorFlow with Dean. He co-designed Bigtable, Spanner, some of the most foundational database systems in Google's history. Oriol Vinyals, a VP at DeepMind, is also leaving. Vinyals was the deep learning lead at DeepMind. And a co-lead on Gemini, Google's flagship frontier AI model. Quoc, one of the co-founders of Google Brain, is leaving too. 4 people. All of them deeply connected to the infrastructure and models that define what Google's AI is today. They are starting a new company. Called Discovery Loop. A public benefit corporation. Goal, automate machine learning and scientific discovery. Google is an investor in it. Which means Google is funding the people who just left Google. The same afternoon, a separate announcement. Demis Hassabis, Nobel Prize winner, the CEO of Google DeepMind since 2014, is stepping back from that role. His new titles, Chair of Google DeepMind. Chief Scientist of Alphabet, replacing Jeff Dean. Hassabis said in a message to employees, "This is a pivotal moment in human history. I have spent my life working toward AGI and now believe it is close at hand." He previously said humanity is standing in the foothills of the singularity. The new operational leader of Google DeepMind, Koray Kavukcuoglu. He has been at DeepMind for 13 years. He built DeepMind's deep learning team. He led WaveNet and DQN, 2 of the lab's most important early breakthroughs. He will now lead the development of Gemini 4. Alphabet stock fell 5% on the news. An estimated $160 to $200 billion in market value in one session. This did not come without warning. In late June 2026, within days of each other, 2 other key departures happened. Noam Shazir, who co-led the Gemini models, left Google for OpenAI. John Jumper, a Nobel Prize-winning researcher who led AlphaFold at DeepMind, left for Anthropic. Both departures in the same week. Alphabet fell 7%. That was June. Yesterday was a different scale. Between June and August, Google lost both Gemini co-leads. A Google Brain co-founder. Its chief scientist. A senior fellow who co-created TensorFlow. A Nobel laureate. The people who built Google AI are at OpenAI, Anthropic, and now their own startup. All in approximately 10 weeks. One more detail that explains the stakes. In the most recent quarter, Google turned cash flow negative for the first time in the company's recorded history. The reason, capital expenditure. Google's full-year 2026 spending forecast, up to $205 billion. Most of that is AI infrastructure. Data centers. Chips. Power. At the same time, Google has not released Gemini 3.5 Pro. Its latest flagship model. It is building the most expensive AI infrastructure in its history, while its competitors are releasing new frontier models, and while the people who built its AI are leaving. That combination, cash flow negative, departures accelerating, new models delayed, is the context in which the leadership restructuring was announced yesterday. The story of Google's AI leadership in 2026 is not a story of failure. TensorFlow still runs the world's AI. AlphaFold changed biology. Gemini is a genuine frontier model. But the story of this week is something different. The people who built those things, who gave 2 and 3 decades to this company, are now building something else. Without Google, Discovery Loop is a public benefit corporation. Its goal is automating scientific discovery. Jeff Dean spent 27 years building infrastructure for finding information. Now he wants to build infrastructure for generating new knowledge. That is either the most natural next step in a career that changed computing, or the clearest signal yet that the people closest to what is happening inside AI labs believe the next chapter is too important to build inside a corporation. Probably both. Subscribe for daily AI coverage. Comment below, do you think Jeff Dean leaving Google to build a public benefit corporation that automates scientific discovery is the most important thing that happened in AI this week? Or do you think the 3-lab hacking story is bigger? Tell me which matters more and why.